The only Home Alones I recognize is 1 and 2. That's right, folks. If Macaulay Culkin's not in it, it doesn't exist. But here we go once again with a remake. But with this one get the job done. I got a lot of thoughts, but without further ado, let's jump into my review of the new film, Home Sweet Home Alone. What's up, folks, and welcome back to the channel today for another review. And today we're going to be reviewing the film Home Sweet Home Alone, coming to Disney Plus November 12th. Now, if I think I calculate this correctly, this is technically the 5th Home Alone. I mean, I guess if you don't count that holiday special one too. But like I said, there's only 2 other Home Alones to me, and that's 1 and 2 with Macaulay Culkin. Those other ones that came after that, I don't know. But like, this is another case of, did we ask for this? But I still wanted to check it out because I feel like there was enough time passed since the only 2 that I recognize. And I actually felt like this one actually was giving me good vibes about it. And I feel like now at an older point in my life that, obviously I could look through it through the lens of when I grew up watching the Home Alones. But also I want to see like, what would the generation right now feel about this? And I got to say, I enjoyed this much more than I was going to expect. And I have 2 different feelings playing on both sides of the table here. But I liked it, and I think kids will love it. I think this is going to bring them the same joy that the first 2 brought us. This one did not feel like a cash grab at all. This one felt like a real thought out film that pays a lot of respect and homage to the first 2 ones, and still kind of does its own thing. But there is a lot of what the first 2 did that's within this film. And I mean, the first big thing for me is the new renditions of the classic score. It's the most iconic score of any of my childhood. Like, when you hear those certain songs, you know exactly where they come from. Those certain melodies, you know exactly where it comes from. And it will always be synonymous with my childhood. But they added a little bit of a new spin to them. But there's also some that is completely, in certain parts of the film, they use the complete classic score. So, a little bit of something for everybody here. And like, the other big thing is like, the other really big thing that's synonymous with Home Alone, the first 2, is it being in New York City, which obviously this one isn't. This one's in the UK, and the family goes over to Japan, where they end up leaving young Max. Max is the new Kevin in this instance, and so on. But going back really quick into what I was saying, like, yeah, there's new renditions of the score. There's tons of nostalgia from the original films, much like the traps and whatnot. And basically, in terms of the traps, how they're set up, but also how they're used. Like, you get that classic Charlie Brown slip up, the high with the legs up in the air. You get all of that stuff, Kenan Thompson's in this for a limited role. I might as well just throw that out there right now. But like I said, Max is the new Kevin. He is a young kid. He's very curious. He's mischievous. He is resourceful. And his parents goes to Tokyo, and he's stuck at home. And the reason how this kind of happens is that, like, he's kind of like me during the holidays. When, like, there's way too many people, you kind of need to be by yourself a little bit. And, like, he ended up just decompressing, shall I say, and they just totally forgot about him. The same build, the same pacing like the originals, where so much stuff is happening and they forget that he's gone. There's a snowstorm that prevents the family from being able to get back initially while he's at home. And he's having his best life. I mean, you all remember when you were a kid and you thought about, what would I do if I was home by myself? He does it all. TV, toys, internet, whatever he could get himself into, that's what he was doing. He ate all the cereal he wanted, pretty much exactly what you would dream to do if you was home alone when you were a kid. But with that being said, talking about the tone and the pacing is much like the originals. It's very light-spirited, family-friendly, tons of humor. And the humor is definitely directed towards that demo of when we were young. That audience. And for the adults, there's things that we're going to laugh at, things we're going to chuckle at, things we're going to appreciate. But the kids are going to have fun the entire time. Like, for real, for real. Because when you're an adult, you start thinking about adult things like physics, where there's absolutely no physics involved with this. Like, Just leave that out of there, you know. But there's so much satire in this. That's where you need to keep the focus. Remember when you were younger and you used to pop in Home Alone during the holidays because that was one of your favorite holiday films, and you didn't care about the whole structure of the film and the logic and all that other stuff. No. You just watched it for the fun. You watched it for the traps. You watched it because at times you wish you were left home alone so you could do these things. You know what I mean? That's where you gain appreciation here with this film. But also really here with the plot here is that you have a family who's doing bad financially and they're going to sell their house. However, they have a specific item that is worth a lot of money. And if they can sell it, then that should make them pretty much break even on their expenses and they can keep their house and so on. And because this is during the holidays, this is kind of an embarrassing thing for them because they're thinking about selling the house. They got family coming over. The kids don't know. So they're trying to mitigate this issue without having to expose the fact that they're doing financially bad. However, this item that they're going to sell ends up missing, and then they blame little old Max. They think Max did it. And when they go to Max's house to go to get it, well, Max, under the wrong impression, is that Max think they're after him. And Max thinks that they're trying to take him and sell him to old ladies, which I know that sounds silly, but as a kid, I absolutely resonate with that. I absolutely remember being fearful of being in a room full of old elder grandmothers, and they just want to give you candy and they want to give you so many kisses, you know, all that stuff. Just like ew, like that. So like I really like that because that was very true to me, and I know there's probably other kids I probably think the same. So that's really much the plot of this. Max is trying to escape them because he feels like, you know, they're after him for that, but they're actually after Max because they think Max stole the item that they're looking for here. So, you know, the original build was more of a cat and mouse thing, and this one really isn't to me. This one more is a misunderstanding. And honestly, when you think about the two parents trying to get their item, they're not actually villains to me. And I have to say that Marv and Al are legends. For real. And they don't even attempt to try to recapture them. That's not even a thing at all. Like, Max plays like a version of Kevin, but these two parents are nowhere near Marv and Al here at all. You're not getting anything. So you can watch the original strictly for Marv and Al and just have that much fun with that. I have to say, and this is no spoiler because it is all over the internet. It's on IMDb. It was announced and so on. Devin Ratray. May not know that name, but you do remember Buzz McAllister. Little old our ginger Buzz, the one that I think it was Kevin's older brother, the one that was kind of bullying him. He did love him, but he was still kind of a bully towards him. Well, he's in this film. He done grown up. He is a police officer now. And while there is that little Easter egg in it, he goes full-blown mention of his relationship with Kevin and his childhood and so on. So that right there was like I gained so much appreciation for that scene, like, and for the film, just for that alone, because that right there really catered to, you know, my generation who grew up with Home Alone 1 and 2 when we were younger. So I really appreciated that whole scene and whatnot. And then the other really big question is, like, like I said, when I started this review, was like, well, who asked for this? This kind of gives me the case of when Jumanji was redone and everybody was just like, oh, no, you don't want to do that. You don't want to touch Robin Williams. And, you know, they kind of went their own route and still pay homage to Robin Williams. And then Space Jam came about and everybody's like, oh, no, you know, Michael Jordan, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then LeBron came and did his own little thing or whatnot. This feels like the same suit where, like, Max doesn't try to be Kevin. But, like, clearly there's still a lot of respect for what Kevin, the character Kevin, what he's done, and Macaulay Culkin and whatnot. And this one just trying to be its own film. So, like, I'm not mad at them making this one. This one seemed to have his own identity, paying respect to the originals, and still making them both very much watchable, which you can watch them all on Disney Plus at this point, right? But like I said, a lot of the movie is still structured the same in regards to pacing and stuff as the original. You know, there's really no true villains. Again, there's no Marvin Al in this, and there's no attempt to even try to copy them. And all this time I keep saying Marvin Al, but I keep meant to say Harry and Marv here, but y'all knew what I was talking about. Y'all knew what I was talking about. Come on now. But yeah, and this isn't really a cat mouse. This is a big misunderstanding, you know, and quite frankly, I feel bad for the parents because they were already financially doing bad, and then they ended up in this circumstance where they're getting kicked while they're already down, you know, so there's no way the villains. And then, of course, things are modernized as you should. I laughed much more than I expected. And you know, the biggest fear was ruining my childhood here, and absolutely not. I may actually watch the first two Home Alones, you know, when I get a chance very soon. And there was a happy ending where I smiled, and then the classic theme. I'm always charmed by it, and I don't want to talk about the ending moment here, but like the ending moment really warms my heart. It is very much on par with what we've seen with the original films. And like, while I keep mentioning a lot of things that this film did like the original film, there's still a lot that is very still much intact with the original film. Certain traps, like, you know, the paint can thing, that's not in here, folks. Like that, and that's one of the most iconic traps of them all. The paint cans swinging by the steps. That's not in it. And obviously we can't get the big moment of when the mom yells Kevin, which is one of the other most iconic scenes in them. So, you know, there's still a lot to go back and watch the originals, but there is still a lot that this new generation can be happy with this. So overall, I had a good time with this. I would definitely check this out again. Folks with kids, you're gonna love it. Folks without kids who remember the originals, I think you'll like it. I think you'll laugh. I think you'll be surprised, you know, but I definitely think it's worth checking out. But again, folks, this is my review of the new film Home Sweet Home Alone. Check it out. Don't be fearful. Have some fun with it. Leave your adult logic out of it and just kick back for a really fun adventure. Let me know in the comments your thoughts about this when you do. And as always, stay tuned for more reviews very soon.